All right, so today we're going to be introducing Eddie Mendoza's 23 GMC Sierra regular cab. We met Eddie at LST last year. He actually placed his deposit there and got in line. He's been patiently waiting to get the truck in here. We finally got it in, and now we're on an LST crunch for this year, 2024. He dropped the truck off a couple weeks ago with Chris from JTX Fords. We pulled the bed off and had the sheet metal guys start on the bed, raising the bed floor, getting the tubs in it, all the panels on the inside. We got that part of it started and underway. Chassis was also being started on the other side of the shop prior to the truck even showing up. Man, I'd like to know a number of how many of these 19s that we've done, 19 and newer, so man, it's gotta be 20. We've done, let's say we've done 20 of these 19 and newer, so a lot of the plugs and positioning of the computers and different sensors and everything, we just know where this stuff goes. But on a new motor and engine combination, on top of a little bit of a new change on the body style, there's a few things in there that I had to label that I didn't know what they went to. So there's a few little hiccups on trying to figure out, like, whoa, this is new, that's new, what are we doing with this? So I've put a couple labels on it, but overall, you know, everything's labeled, bag tagged. That way it makes your assembly go back way easier. Because a lot of times you're in a crunch to get a truck done or get it to the exhaust shop or get it to the alignment shop or whatever the case is. So having those bagged and tagged, you know, all your left front is in one bag, your right front is in one bag, your front center's in another bag. Having everything labeled makes this a hell of a lot easier at the end of the day, and you don't lose stuff. So moving forward with this build, one of the things that's throwing a little bit of a wrench in this timeline is this truck has a gasoline 4-cylinder. That is an engine and transmission combination that we have not encountered yet. With the chassis being done and off the table, it does lack motor mounts because we have to physically pull that motor and transmission out of the factory frame, and we're gonna have to throw the chassis back on the frame table to mock that up into the chassis and get our correct motor and transmission angle, because yes, that is important. When you guys are bagging and body dropping trucks or building a full chassis or whatever the case is, motor and transmission angles matter. That motor and transmission has to be placed at an angle in relationship to the rear end or the carrier bearing or whatever the case is. This is very, very important not to have driveline issues down the road or vibrations or screaming rear ends or screaming carrier bearings. Another really important thing that we need to get on like right now is getting the wheels mounted and balanced and mocked up on his rear end, because we need that measurement as soon as possible to disassemble the rear end and send the axles to get cut down and resplined. So that, that's going to be a 10-day process. So moving forward from here, obviously we're going to get that motor and transmission installed into the chassis and get that all lined out. Then we will install the chassis motorless underneath the cab. That way the sheet metal guys have all the room in the world to work their front tubs into the firewall and the front structure. And then we will install the motor again into the chassis and test fit back into the cab to clearance for the transmission tunnel and drive shaft tunnel, because we think this does have an 8L90 instead of the 10-speed. So we're worried about our normal transmission tunnel going into this with that new drivetrain that we haven't seen yet. So a little bit of mock-ups, back and forth, in and out, and then we will tear it apart and send it to powder coat. All within, we have to have this truck built in 6 weeks. So it is January 4th. Stay tuned. We need to get this to paint 2 weeks before LST, which is the 23rd, 21st of February. So we need to have this, the first week of February needs to be done. So we got a month. We don't even have 6 weeks. Yeah, we got 4. So stay tuned. We're gonna be crunch, crunch, crunch. I can't fuck with you anymore, Zach. I gotta go to work. So how about that?